We are the nerds. We are the nerds of the apocalypse.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of The Movie Troll. With me, myself, George, the Movie Troll. Today's a special episode where we're going to be talking about remakes. Now, it's a pretty well-known fact that I don't like remakes. By and large, they're just a bad idea, hanging on the coattails of something that was actually good. Well, today we're going to be talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street. A well-known classic, an amazing horror movie when it came out originally. It's still today the thing of nightmares. And sadly, it's one of my favorite horror movies. Brought to us in 1984 by Wes Craven, it introduced us to Freddy Krueger, a villain that is still renowned as one of the absolute best and most memorable characters in all of cinema horror. Now, the story takes place where Freddy Krueger has been acquitted for being a child murderer with pedophilic undertones. Now, the parents of the local children decide that they will not allow this travesty to go and hunt him down and kill him, burning him alive like a barbecue sandwich in the middle of a boiler room. Now, they thought that would be the end of the story, but sadly no. Freddy Krueger, being the horrible person that he is, decided to come back from hell and haunt the children's dreams for decades to come. Now, Freddy is played by Robert Englund, who is amazingly awesome. The expressions in his face and the token gestures, token things that he has, which include a razor hand straight out of Gensu, a Christmas sweater, and a complexion of beef jerky. And let's not forget his Staten hat, which is often referred to as a fedora, but it's not. Fedoras are smaller. Thing. Anyway, Freddy Krueger brought comedy and bad puns to something that basically should be a slasher flick. It was a really edgy new way to go with a horror genre that hadn't really been seen before. You know, there had been realism, there had been all of these other things, but Freddy brought just this sinister evil that's Jason Voorhees meets the Joker. It's something that you just don't see very often in horror. And he did it in spades like no one had ever done before. He was tall and lanky and just grim and evil. It was hard to really get a good balance, but he did it. And Robert Englund, to this day, is the absolute perfect person to play him. Having played the role over 10 times, he is still, I think there was a incident last year actually, where he was trying to bring a theater back and dressed up as Freddy Krueger to make it all wonderful and good. But sadly, that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about a horrible remake, because the powers that be thought that it needed to be remade in 2010. Directed by Chuck Russell, and changing Freddy Krueger from the awesome Robert Englund to the Jackie Earle Haley, who is a ginger midget who didn't deserve the role.
Go Rorschach!
Still sporting a Christmas sweater and the complexion of beef jerky, he is now the size of a small terrier. He also has the emotional range of Kristen Stewart, because of bad makeup and other things. Take away the fact that they wanted to make this a grimmer, darker version of the movie, and failed miserably. He was lifeless and emotionless, and had no general humor to him, changing the entire aspect of what made Freddy so appealing in the first place. So, you take a wonderfully vibrant, evil character that has a witty sense of humor that kills everything, and change it to a dry, dull character that, by his origins, have even changed. Now, again, I mentioned that the original Freddy was a killer with pedophilic undertones. They never really came out and said, oh, he was doing those nasty things with those little girls and boys. But they completely changed that in this one. The original Freddy was a killer. This new one is just a pedophile, never actually killing any of the children beforehand. I don't know about you. I know what prison does to, prisons. I know what happens to pedophiles. I would almost rather get burned alive in a boiler room if I was in his shoes. They actually kind of did him a favor. And let's be real, killers, just scarier. So, this emotionless, horrible character comes back to basically get revenge for doing him a favor, and ruins a otherwise amazing franchise. Now, there was one thing about this remake that I kind of liked. They had this thing called micro dreams, where if you've been deprived of sleep for long enough, you will start to hallucinate in your actual waking moments. So characters would fade in and out of reality while they're in supermarkets or just doing the regular day. And Freddy would just kind of show up for brief seconds. It was a really neat thing, but not nearly enough to bring out this horrible travesty of a movie back to something tolerable and worth watching a second time. Now, if you don't believe me, you're welcome to go and watch them both. But I guarantee you're going to get more out of the first Nightmare on Elm Street, and probably more out of the second, which sadly had a lot of homosexual undertones. But it was still a much superior movie. But that's just my opinion. If you like this video, please leave some comments below on any movies you'd like me to say, like to review in the future. And again, subscribe. We'll see you next time.